Okay, so that was Kyle. He was calling back about this. Now, I was just talking to him. He is not with Troy Bilt, nor is he with Bridgestone, nor is he with MTD. But he is apparently the parts company for all these companies. So he gave me a number if I want to call him back. First was, he was confused because he says, do you have a number? I says, well, what number? He goes, well, the number will probably be on the frame. I said, that's the number that says Troy Bilt on it. He goes, okay. I said, it's on the frame. Well, part of that number's worn off, but there was another number he was able to use. Then he says, well, wait a minute, I'm confused because you're saying it says Troy Bilt. Yeah, it says Troy Bilt in big letters, you know, and then underneath it in small letters, it says MTD product. I says, and the pump says MTD on it. And the motor is a Bridgestone, Briggs & Stratton. I said, so this is why I'm having problems trying to find the right part. So he says, okay. So he researched it. Now I got to give him an A for this because he was all right. You know, I mean, I couldn't get them on the phone. You know, Briggs & Stratton, Troy Bilt, MTD. I couldn't forget trying to get them on the phone. After I was on the phone for 20 minutes on hold, I get hung up on. So much for that. But he was nice, and he came up with the right part number finally. He says the unloader valve with the part number he gave me is 60 bucks, $61 plus shipping. So then I says to him, all right, now what's the whole pump worth? Because if you look at this now, the motor runs fine. There's nothing wrong with the motor. However, it's 10, 12 years old. Well, that's a 95 according to the sticker. However, we didn't buy it in 95, but I know it's at least 10 years old. So at that point, you know, of 10 years of use, it means the pump is also 10 years of use. So what would a new pump cost if I wanted to buy a new pump? I hate to buy an unloader valve for 60 bucks to find out, okay, just by coincidence, the pump started acting up too. You follow? Well, the pump is 210 bucks. Okay. Now he totally understood where I'm going here. Do I spend 60 and take a chance of the pump being bad or going bad after being 10 years old? Or do I buy the whole new pump that comes with the unloader valve for 210? So that's all part of that. Okay, so, or do I just say to hell with it and buy a new pressure washer? Because the motor does run good. There's nothing wrong with the motor. The frame is okay. It's not rotted out. You know. However, there's 10, 12 years on it. So what do I do? Now, here's something I was thinking about. Now that I got his number, there's probably nothing that I would go and have to go for to buy another part other than just call him. You know, I won't have to go nuts again because I know who he is now. And he knows, you know, he has the parts for all three of these places. So at that point, it's not an issue. So buying parts again is not a problem. However, if I ever do have to get hold of the company, like I said, I've been trying all morning to get a hold of these people, and finally I left the thing for them to call me back, and he calls me back, which is another company. The company that handles all the parts. And they're in Wisconsin. Milwaukee. It's Milwaukee, believe it or not. So there's another name. Well, the one I was looking at, was thinking about, was buying a Generac. Now I have a Generac generator that's been faithful. No problems other than the battery. The little battery that came in it was a piece of shit. And that was the only problem I ever had with it. Once I changed out that battery, I've had no problems with that unit. Knock on wood. So I called Generac. I said, I'm going to call them first just to see how quick and how much bullshit I get on the phone before I actually get a question answered. I dialed the number on the Generac website. I had to push one extension. Within 4 minutes, I'm talking to a tech. He answered every question for me and said, whatever you need is here. They are their own. Now, I can only take his word for it here, but they are their own. Their pumps are their own, their motors are their own, their generators are their own, everything is their own. If I have any problems with anything, I call them and I can get my part. Now that sounds perfect to me. So for that reason alone, I'm thinking of just buying a new power washer and buying the Generac. So I was talking to him about 2 different models that I'm looking at. And well, let me bring you over here for a minute. Bang you around a little bit. Zoom in. Okay, the one on the left is the 7132. It is 3100 psi and it delivers 2.5 gallons per minute, and it has electric start, and it's 420 bucks. The one on the right is also 3100 psi. It only delivers 2.4, so it's 0.1 off. It's not a big deal, and that's $399. That does not have electric start. So I can get the electric start and have a little bit more on gallons per minute, 0.1, which is not a big deal at this point, and have electric start. Now I had a question to him about the cleaning power. And here's where I kind of also fell into where I'm thinking the Generac. When I was talking to him, I asked him about something here that they have cleaning power. They have a title there. All right? And I says, what's the cleaning power? Exactly how are you rating this? What is this rating? And he says, to be honest with you, that's something just added. He's not familiar with it. So if I don't mind hanging on for a minute, he was going to talk to the specialist. All right? Which tells me that he's okay. He's not going to just give me a bullshit line. You follow me? He was honest enough to say, I don't know. Now one of them, the bigger one that I'm looking at, has 7750. The other one, the cheaper one, has 7440. So we're about what? 1,000, whatever, 100 and something, 110. Anyway, so much for that. Now what troubled me though was the motor. The better one with the electric start has a 173. The cheaper one has a 196. Now I always thought you needed the motor to make the pump. I mean, they kind of, go hand in hand with one another. But apparently the efficiency on the other one with the lesser motor is better, so that it didn't need the motor of the other one. This is how it was kind of explained to me. So I'm actually thinking of getting a hold of Tractor Supply and ordering the 7143. The other one on the right, that is a 6923. Now they also make a little bit bigger one, which is 3200 for $449. But where does it end? You follow me? Then they have another one up that's 33. Well, you know what? You got to fall within reason. I mean, that's all there is to it. I'm not looking to drill holes in the driveway with it. I'm just looking to clean. So I don't need all that. You buy what you need. I find that the 3,000 I have is fine. So if the 3,000 I have is fine, the 31 should be okay. The electric start is a nice thing to have. So I think I'm going to go with the electric start, and it's only $20 more basically. So I really think I'm going to make the switch to Generac and not have to worry about it. Even though, now that I have a place to buy the parts for this, You know what? I'll even give you that number. If you have a Troy Bilt or a what do you call it, Briggs & Stratton or an MTD unit, lawnmower, power washer, whatever it is, the number to get your parts is 800-743-4115. Now the salesman that I was talking to was Kyle, but however, he says you may or may not get him if I call him back. You know, so they don't apparently work on commission or whatever because there's no extensions. So if you do have a unit that you can't find a part for, there's a phone number that you could try to get your parts from, because apparently they are the parts place. So we'll see what happens. So that's what I'm up against. Order a new one, a whole new unit for $420 plus tax, or order the pump with a new valve, all comes with it, for $210 plus shipping that was going to cost me $23. We didn't discuss tax. I don't think there would be any tax involved in that. So we're looking at what, $240, rounded off to $250. So $250 versus $450, we're assuming, with taxes. So for $200 I can get a whole brand new unit. And I can always take a chance later and look for a cheaper unloader valve as I go along, now that I have an idea what I'm looking at. And if it doesn't give me the power that it should, well, you know what, at least I have a backup. So, and it's a shame because I just put these nice wheels on this thing. These are all, you know, tube. These have air in them, and they got nice bearings in them and things. You know, they're not those cheap plastic wheels that's just got a bar going across. You know, these roll over just about anything. But I think that's what I'm going to do. Alright guys, that's the story of the pressure washer. Let me call up Tractor Supply, see what's going on with them. Oh, wait a minute, you know what? I should check with Lowe's, because if Lowe's has it, or even Home Depot, I save another 10%. So that's like another $40 I can save. Let me check them first. Alright.